So yep, if sticking on Odin, Loki, Ranos era. And in this lineup, I'm really not sure what to expect. I'm not exactly all too happy about the double Oranos against all those Lokis, but still, they are very good gods, and if played competently, which 9 Racing Cat most definitely can, and a skill quite probably as well, they might be good enough to out-micro their opponents without that much of a problem. So, the first we have a look at is right now Recon at the very bottom. He's playing Pocket for AoLs, going in with his Loki, and for the hunt here on the left as well, result in Oxcart pretty soon, and Iron Maiden went for his big hunt, so he is having quite a lot of hunties right at the very start. At this point, I'm not exactly sure if it's really all that clever to use the hunt at the very beginning, because it really just makes you stick at one spot, and you will be having a hard time going for the forward hunt, because you will be going for that very late and will be very open to raiding. So it might be maybe better spent actually for some bad situation when you need to fall back, and maybe, but well, maybe also not. Well, let's see. Anyway, he did cast it, so he has a lot of hunt at the very beginning, and otherwise he's scouting defensively at this point with some of his piggies, and also the Ulfsark, or rather the Skraeling, after the Wobbly Balance patch, that is immune to bolts, and also can be actually put into aggressive stance so that he isn't bothered by his, or rather passive stance, so that he isn't bothered by his attack on him. Pretty good scouting, but not really anything substantial being discovered by those picks. So we will be moving into other one from the Lats, which is going to be 9 Racing Cat, who is playing the Pocket as one of those Oranoses, or Oranai. Now, let's say Oranoses, that seems better at this point for me. Very nice hippos at the back, that's definitely going to help. Otherwise, not much interesting that we would need to talk about. And, well, he will be probably soon moving into those wild boars into the middle quite soon indeed. So 5% villager wood and gold gather rates, which is absolutely great, and we are going to see that captured pretty soon. Another relic is faster myth unit training time, not bad. Not bad, even though not that stellar and game-changing, but could help. This is absolutely huge building Pierce attack, especially if it's gonna get captured by Kyriudai, who can somehow tower spam or anything. And Migdals are going to be super strong, and 20% wall hit points. That's actually two pretty good defensive relics at this point that could help, especially Dera, because he will be most probably going for something standard, like the 2TC fast heroic yet again, and will help him in defending quite a lot, quite obviously. Some other relic trio help for monkeys for potential early raiding, that's about it, and 10% hero speed. Oh, okay, and that spawned right next to Loki. Well, that could be a huge boost for AoLs, especially for the raiding. That could be pretty huge at this point, and I'm really curious to see if they will recognize this opportunity that has been just presented to them. Kyriudai is right now not really in a bad position, still having pretty good one. Looking at the TCs, 1, 2, 1, 2, it seems like this is basically a threat from Kyriudai. It doesn't seem like he has some kind of back TC, which is slightly unfortunate for him. But, well, sometimes it goes that way, but it's not really all that into the offensive, so should be able to defend it quite nicely. Berserker is going for a very sneaky, what is it, temple, and we can see double spy here, and it's on, unfortunately for AoLs, it's on both gold, not gold, food gatherers at the same spot, so it's basically going to be wasted. And I think it was slight misplay, and just both saw that the food is here, and I just went for it, and slight miscommunication, to be honest. Askil is right now getting temple up, so he will be advancing pretty soon, but you can see he will be heavily raided, and since Berserker is already there, that's going to be some super aggression from AoLs on him. And from the very unexpected angle, and I don't think that Eskil is going to be scouting for that anytime soon. Maybe when he goes for the hippos, but well, let's see how that will go for him. Recon is also moving in quite this interesting position, because he is in the middle, basically between Kyriudai and Askil, which will limit the potential for Kyriudai to help his ally. And the double Heimdall, oh yeah, this is going to be super aggressive build, and yep, double undermine and attack from Berserker and Recon. So goodbye TC. It's going to, oh well, 60% they could actually kill him before the game even begins. And they definitely will. Okay, that's very sweet play. Very sweet play indeed. And goodbye, a skill from this game. Goodbye, a skill from this game. It was 15% from finished, and well, yeah, that's very nice play. That's all I have to say about this. Well played, AoL. Well played, AoL. I'm not exactly sure what they can do about this, lads. They can still try to survive, most definitely, but with the problem that they have a Ra in the middle, which means he will be really interested in booming and not really in supplying some extra army, which he now is forced to, which will disrupt his normal play quite substantially, and this will mean that Askil will have quite brutal echo problems if they are caught nicely here. Okay, Kiryudai right now used quite wisely his 15 cents actually to protect the Willies. He was just trying to get them to safety because they were being hammered here and in a pretty bad spot, and really Askil is being put out of the game altogether, and I'm not sure he can really rebuild TC anytime soon. On the left you can see that Iron Maiden is also going quite strongly for the push into Nyan here, who is having a bit of a Promethean just trying to scout around, but he is getting killed very nicely. And okay, it seems like he will be able to basically manage Nyan Racing Cat without too much of a problem at this point, as he is having the upper hand, and Nyan is having just a little army, and that's not really enough to disrupt anything. Kiryuda is right now the most important player in Lat's team and in the game altogether, because he is the one who is going to decide if Askil is gonna get back into the game or if AoLs are just going to finish. Right now it really seems like they are in the finish here, and well, they are right now finishing Askil's base quite decently, and yes, this is a pretty good position for them at this point, because they are just occupying the TC and they just basically bought 3 extra TCs from their opponents. That's also a huge bonus of this special strategy, and if they can keep it up, it could be very valuable for them. 2 of the towers are already gone, so I was thinking that Askil might be researching the towers to help with some defense and, well, counter attack from Kiryudai, but that's not really going to happen, as with just 2 towers it's not worth it at all. That's not really that good at all, and well, Askil is right now finally getting back into the game and putting up a TC. I kinda love these games, when somebody plays something totally unexpected and catches his opponent off guard quite totally. It seems like that AoLs are continuing their gameplay quite nicely, without that much of a loss of a tempo through the early advances, but they have to be careful as Berserker is right now heavily raided by Nyan Racing Cat. And especially with the extra help from the Shockwave, he will be in a bit of a pickle here. Right now, Nyan Racing Cat is pretty much the only one that can do something about the Raiden, and since he is not having any army whatsoever against him, he is kinda having a free reign of all the rooms here, and well, he will be probably catching these Willies. I really wanted to switch into the right side. I just wanna see if Nyan Racing Cat will fight those. Yes, he did. It, and he's going for them. So goodbye, Willis. That's a very good trade in by Nyan. And I wanted to switch to the right, where Kiryudai is doing all he can to somehow protect against the 2 opponents, and it seems like he is doing pretty well indeed, as he has been able to repel everybody and he's having pretty good echo right now, even though he's just at 1 TC. Right now he's the one holding the shares of Lats pretty much alive. Nyan Racing Cat is still having a pretty decent army, at least at home, to defend against potential raids, but this is going to be a bit too strong to my liking and to Nyan Racing Cat's liking as well, I think. And well, even though the Radiant has been defended here by Iron Maiden together with Recon, still it did its damage. And it just reminded AoLs that they have to be careful at the back as well, because Nyan Racing Cat is a good player and is very well capable of doing something. So, the record advance into Prometheus for Askil will be at around 830. Around 830, which is really a record in RTS League, I kinda guess, at this point. And, well, it's not like he really could have done anything about it. It was just damn well played by his opponents. Okay, so we are with Rain, which means that Kiryuda is actually having a pretty good position, even with army, to maybe go into Heroic. Right now, do we see the armory? No, we don't, so he's just going for extra food so that he can still supply the production that he is having up, and this is kind of not really going to work for Berserker, and he has to retreat. But it seems like developing into the double on 9 Racing Cat, because Recon has joined with Iron Maiden, and this is a pretty huge battle at this point, because 9 Racing Cat cannot defend against it at all. And right now just looking if maybe he's going for at least towers that would help him protect, but no, he isn't. And he is in a very tough spot, because he's going to lose military buildings and he doesn't have anything else. And well, with Red being the Loki and potentially getting some extra mythical units like the Ainyar, okay, that could be pretty much it, because Durmas are not going to carry it, especially when they are like almost dead. This is a pretty big army from Iron Maiden, so he is managing 9 Racing Cat quite nicely, and it seems like Berserker has made his way from Yellow's base back into 9 Racing Cats. And this means pretty much all 3 players in here, and Yellow is finally arriving at the battle scene to save the day once again. And he is right now not protecting only Askill, but also Kill You Die, or rather 9 Racing Cats, because Kill You Die, that's him. This is a pretty strong army, and right now they are pretty much just waiting for the right moment to kill. And I'm going to check if they are advancing into Heroic, because I kinda think that flaming weapons could be all it takes here. Second TC being built by Iron Maiden. Not much else by Berserker, Recon either, so they are not hitting Heroic yet. And they are pretty much occupying those 3 extra TCs here still. And Berserker is moving with all his army in basically 1v1 against Kill You Die, who should be right now be helped by Askill, who is finally back into the game in some measure, but still. Yellow is away with his army defending against AoL Recon, doing pretty well at that. Looking at the relic here, that wasn't picked up by anybody, even though it's pretty great. And well, that's pretty much it, because right now it's like fighting Askill against Berserker 1v1 is probably not going to go all that well. And I think that Kill You Die should go for some extra towers, because they will need to defend quite well. But probably with the armory up, he's going Heroic. Yep, hit it into Hathor right now. And if he puts Migdol at some good position with this very nice gold, it could actually help him. Does he have some extra gold at the back? No, I don't see it. Catching Ainyar with like the whole army. Okay, that's not really efficient. But he is going generally in the right direction, because he needs to defend against Berserker. So yep, this is a pretty bad slaughter of the Willies on the gold, it seems. And not only them, but still, with the extra 5 from those towers, this should be pretty much okay. And Kill You Die trying to build the Migdol, but he has been discovered by Recon. And Recon is doing all he can to stop it, but he won't be able to, because extra fire from the TC, from the towers, and especially the returned army from Kill You Die is just enough to protect it, even though it was slowed down quite substantially. But the base should be more or less secure with the Migdol up, but let's see if that's actually going to change anything. It means that AoLs have to retreat at this point, as they are not really in a comfortable position. And on the left, Iron Maiden is still having, right now with medium raiders, free reign of 9 Racing Cat, and it's 2 versus 1 TCs, and really 9 finally went at least for the towers, which support him at least to some extent, protecting the gold, but he is almost out and he will have to move either to this gold or this. Well, has quite a lot of options, but Iron Maiden is really looking to gold starve him as much as he can. Gonna check yet again for potential upgrades into Aegis. No Heroic yet for either of the players here, but Berserker going for a second. And here we see some very nice locusts on gold of Berserker, and we see a lot of Force dying, but it was very well played by Berserker, because he sent all those Phillies in 2 directions, which meant that they didn't actually bump into each other and didn't suffer from bad pathing. So that was a very nice micro from Berserker right there. A pretty good push right now developing on the right side from Kill You Die and Askill, where somehow Kill You Die, well, he didn't lose any units, so that was kind of straightforward for him. And apparently Askill didn't either all that much, even though it's just Turmas. But with the cover of the Spearman, I'm actually pretty safe against the Berserker's raiding cavalry here. So the battle is right now being taken back into old Askill's base, and let's see if they can somehow retake it. Right now a lot of mythical units, but a lot of heroes as well, and priests, so with a bit of micro it should be it, but not like this. Not when Recon is joining the fight as well, and Kill You Die with his ally Askill needs to retreat, because this is not a good fight, and Budget is probably going to die through this because of the very bad pathing he's going to fall prey to. especially with this Hersier, can hit him. Extra settlements for 9 Racing Cat and Berserker as well, and it seems like 9 Racing Cat is right now using the opportunity given to him by Iron Maiden to push forward, because he is really using the deficit in the army population of Iron Maiden in the TC range, because he's having quite a lot of raiding cavalry at the back, and also here joined by Recon, so not a good time for a 9 Racing Cat right now to gather wood here. Not a good time at all. It's probably going to lose maybe just one Willy in a moment, but not that much, and it's like Recon is at another settlement as well, so AoLs are finally kicking in the next gear and going for the extra TCs, and it seems like they have settled their better economies from the early advances and are full in to the proper game. Iron Maiden also going for a 3rd TC, even though he was being raided here, so yeah, you can see that the Ulfsark, or what was it, has died. But it's delayed, at least slowly, and well, this is pretty much the best thing that Kiludai at this point can do. That's raiding the economy of their opponents, because it should be suffering at least to some degree because of the early advances, but still, I have to repeat that it's the only thing that is keeping AoLs alive at this point. That they have advanced and quite early and put Askil out of the game altogether. Right now though, Iron Maiden is not having a good time here in his base, because he's been killed by 9 Racing Cat without any problem whatsoever, and here we see another attempt by Kiludai with Askil, and this time it seems to be quite convincing, because those chariot archers are exactly the unit that Lats need to somehow counterplay what they are facing on the battlefield. And with Iron Maiden having his raiding cavalry all around the map, like literally you can see on the top near purple, in the middle there with red and yellow, that's pretty much it, and he is right now paying for it through some pretty decent raiding by 9 Racing Cat himself, well, forcing Iron Maiden to actually retreat a bit home. This is like a position for 9 Racing Cat that he is really comfortable in. Is right now not threatened at his home, so I'm kind of expecting he might be wanting some extra resources for upgrade into Heroic Age, but he is being heavily raided by Iron Maiden at this point, and well, yeah, losing some Willys here, and this army from 9 Racing Cat could be enough with the supporting fire, but not so far. Here, first Heroic Rage from Recon, rather first for AoLs, because Kiludai is already in Heroic as well, and really Kiludai going for 2nd DC, and if he can somehow actually avoid tagging his opponents into this, it could be a pretty good place for him in this game, because he will be important for what is going to happen next. A lot of buildings from Red though, so it seems like they are not going to give up on this base anytime soon. And this still means that Lats are 3 TCs down, and it's not really going to last all that longer, because these are going to be quite soon up, and well, I'm not exactly sure what Lats want to do against that. So 2nd TC for Kiludai done, with Recon trying to raid him, but not really all that successfully, but this huge army of raiding cavalry together with piggies is pretty threatening at this point, and very risky for his opponents. Iron Maiden still trying to raid as much as he can, literally everywhere, having a bit of an army here, but that's going to be caught by Askil at this point, and well, it seems like 9 Racing Cat has been killed by the crocodile as well. Oh well, he was going for a TC, that was a nice attempt, but he sent some half that Willy, and unfortunately for him, nature did the rest. Nature did the rest, and he did not die of old age. So, pretty good army, but kinda half dead, so it means that Iron Maiden will probably kill it pretty soon. And Racing Cat send in another Willy, sorry, and advancing into Heroic as well, and with the armory up for Iron Maiden, he will probably be switching into the Age as well, and he is having 3 TCs, and right now, having the extra pop from the fortified ones. So, right when he jumped, he is having Heavy Raider. Oh, he is already through Skadi, I just forgot about that, so sorry. And extra TCs are being right now captured by AoLs, because they recognize the push from Kiludai potentially with Askil could be quite threatening, and yep, right now Kiludai has to take care of this gold, because it needs to stay his if he wants to do something with this game. Still a lot of raiding going on from Recon, and also Iron Maiden, who is right now trying to outmaneuver his opponents, and he will might maybe succeed in it, but all he did right now, Recon, is that he basically raided the TC through very nice attempts, and he will be going for extra dryads. No, we won't really get them. We won't really get them, and this is meaning that this raiding cavalry, the piggies, will need to retreat and recuperate for some other day. In the middle, we can see that 9 Racing gets attempt at actually closing in on his 30C wasn't really successful, and not even the military buildings, and it seems like Iron Maiden is well in hand of his base, so no problem whatsoever. No problem whatsoever. I'm gonna check some of the TCs. Berserker going for a fourth at this point, because he has already stolen one inside the bases here, and well, he is right now having 2 TCs from Askil. Well, it's a pretty good one here. Quite a lot of Usarks at this point. Kinda curious. And well, this is the army of choice that he's going for. Not really any upgrades here, but doing pretty well. And going for M1 extra TC, so he will be at 5 TCs in just a matter of moments. And it seems like that Askil is not really leaving 1 TC trap anytime soon. Yellow trying to wall up, and since he has captured the gold, they are pretty much safe. But the raiding party is arriving at Kiludai's second DC, and that's a pretty very bad spot, because he doesn't have enough army anywhere close, and it will be just up to Askil to defend against all that. He's having just 4 Murmillos, and, well, some extras, but still, PC should be coming down due to the piggies, and let's really have it clicked and switch on the left side, where the huge army from Kiludai has been right now frozen, because it was attempting to take down the Iron Maiden's 4th TC, which right now will be just nicely finished. Iron Racing Cat is going for Kate. Right now Tartarian Gate is probably not going to be cast on this TC. I don't really think that would be all that clever, and yep, Kirida is back to 1, with Recon still having a pretty decent army here, and don't really expect any problems for him all that much. So Tartarian Gate is being cast at the back of AoL Iron Maiden's base. And we have Bragi from Berserker. Oh well, flaming weapons possibly could be the closing deal as well, but we are possibly looking also at Ragnarok from some of those players here. But well, let's see how that will develop. Okay, so the frost is pretty much over, and this is huge Nine Racing Cat's army together with Kyryudai, which should result in a pretty convincing win at this point, but they don't really have any siege, so that's just going to be a bit of a death raiding cavalry, but that's about it. On the right side, Kyryudai together with Askil are still doing a pretty good job defending against the onslaught from Berserker at 6 TCs. Yeah, he has just taken all 3 Askil's TCs as well as his own, so doing pretty well. And how is it looking with his upgrades? Not really all that great, but that's not surprising at this point, because he is basically having his all military spent, all economy spent on the military with the 6 TCs, and he was basically going for all those extra Ufsarks and extra TCs to basically make up for the fact that as a Loki he cannot have Ragnarok, but this is basically just as well. Having 6 TCs against 2, yeah, that's it. And right now with the flaming weapons, that's going to be pretty tricky, because the foreground went up, and Kyryudai has lost this Migdol, which is crucial at this point. Well, I'm not really sure that Askil's Chairo Ballistae are actually going to be enough at this point. Yeah, the flaming weapons are a huge problem, especially with this amount of piggies, like 4 at this point, and Recon advancing through help, so Nidhogg will be cast somewhere. And Kyryudai, well, he is through into Mythics, through Osiris. That could be exactly what he needs to kill all those pigs. But does he have a good Pharaoh somewhere? Not sure. Really see him. Here he is, and he's half dead, so he cannot really cast him. He needs to heal him up first. But with AoL Recon joining the fight on the right side, yep, alas recognized that this game, even after a pretty great fight, is out of their reach, and the early brutal attack on Askil was well worth it, and AoLs take the next fight and are leading 2-1. So pretty good job and a very nice game. Yeah, it was very nice strat, but Lats held on quite nicely, especially through Kyryudai, and 9 Racing Cat wasn't doing half bad either, holding against double quite often, but well, in the end it just wasn't enough, as the early advantage of basically deleting the player was well worth it and wasn't resulting in some all that very bad economy for AoLs. Iron Maiden in the best score here, but that's because he wasn't really participating in the early attack. And at the same time, he wasn't punished by anything. But Berserker wasn't really far behind. But with the 60 Cs, it just grows then. Sweet. 136, but that's probably because of all the buildings like the Migdals and towers shooting at the units. 355, 356, 359. Yeah, they definitely got a skill of guard at 828. He was advancing like 420, 430. But, well, yeah, that didn't work out for him.
Yes.
More upgrades for the whole game. That's exactly what it has to. That was one hell of a funny game. One hell of a funny game. Kiruda having good wood, but yeah, wasn't really like anybody needed that, I guess. GG then.